Ever wondered how that dusty old chest in your attic could turn into a gold mine? You're not alone. In fact, in an age where mass production is the norm, the allure of vintage items has never been stronger. These unique pieces, with their history and charm, have a value that's only increasing. Think about it. Your grandmother's old brooch, that old vinyl record collection, or even that classic typewriter gathering dust. They're all potential treasures that could be worth more than you think. It's like a treasure hunt right in your own home. This isn't just about nostalgia. It's about recognizing the value in the old and transforming it into something new, a source of income. The market for vintage items is booming, and savvy individuals are capitalizing on this trend. So how exactly can you make money from vintage items? Let's dive in. Not all that glitters is gold, and not all that's old is vintage. Knowing the worth of your vintage items is the first step. Now, this is a journey of exploration and discovery. So let's dive into how you can determine the true value of vintage items. Firstly, consider age. Vintage isn't just a fancy term for old. It refers to items that are at least 2 decades old, but not older than a century. Those older are considered antiques. So if your item falls within this time frame, it's got 1 tick in the vintage box. Next up is rarity. If your item was mass-produced and there are still thousands of them floating around, it might not hold much value. But if it's rare, it's likely to be more valuable. Rarity can be due to limited production, unique features, or simply because few have survived in good condition over the years. Speaking of condition, it plays a significant role in the value of vintage items. An item in pristine condition is often worth more than one that's seen better days. This doesn't mean your slightly worn vintage piece is worthless. Some collectors appreciate a bit of wear and tear. It shows the item has a history and adds to its charm. Now let's talk about demand. The vintage market isn't immune to trends. What's hot today might not be tomorrow, so keep an eye on the market. If your item is in demand, its value will rise. Online marketplaces and auction sites are great platforms for gauging demand and comparing prices. Remember, the value of your vintage item isn't just about the price tag. It's a piece of history, a slice of the past. It's about craftsmanship and design that has stood the test of time. It's about nostalgia and the stories these items can tell. Once you've considered age, rarity, condition, and demand, you'll have a better understanding of your vintage item's worth. And remember, just as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so is value. Once you know the value of your items, it's time to sell. Now that you've uncovered your vintage gems, it's time to turn them into cash. So, how do you do it? Let's dive in. First things first, you need to determine where to sell your vintage treasures. There are a few great options you could consider. Online marketplaces like Etsy and eBay are popular platforms that cater to a wide audience, making it easier for your items to be seen by potential buyers. However, if you're dealing with high-end or particularly rare items, you might want to consider prestigious auction houses. They have a knack for drawing in serious collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for unique pieces. Don't rule out local vintage shops either. They often buy items outright or offer consignment options, allowing you to make a profit without having to deal with shipping or customer service. Now onto the presentation. Showcasing your items in the best light is key. Take clear, well-lit photos from multiple angles and write detailed descriptions highlighting the item's history, condition, and unique features. This helps potential buyers understand exactly what they're getting, which could be the deciding factor in making a purchase. Setting a competitive price is equally crucial. Research similar items online to get a sense of the market value. You don't want to undersell your treasures, but setting the price too high could deter potential buyers. But what if a buyer wants to negotiate? Well, that's where your negotiation skills come into play. It's okay to haggle a bit, but always know your bottom line. Stick to it and never feel pressured to accept an offer that's less than what you think the item is worth. And there you have it, a step-by-step guide to selling your vintage treasures. It might seem daunting at first, but with a little practice and patience, you'll be raking in the cash in no time. But remember, while selling is important, it's only half the battle. The real victory lies in the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the satisfaction of giving a new life to old treasures. So, keep hunting, keep discovering, and most importantly, keep enjoying the vintage journey. Selling a few items can bring in some extra cash. But to truly profit from vintage, you need to think bigger. Now let's talk about how to turn your love for vintage into a full-fledged business. To begin with, sourcing is crucial. You need to find unique, high-quality vintage items that people are willing to pay for. So where can you find these gems? Estate sales, flea markets, and thrift stores are treasure troves waiting to be explored. Online platforms like eBay and Etsy can also prove bountiful. Just remember, quality over quantity is the name of the game. Next up, you need to build a brand. Your brand is your business's identity. It's what sets you apart from the competition. So think about what you stand for. Are you all about luxury vintage pieces, or do you specialize in affordable retro finds? Whatever it is, make it clear and consistent across all your platforms. Now, on to establishing a loyal customer base. To do this, you need to provide value beyond just selling products. Share your knowledge and passion for vintage. Create engaging content like blog posts or videos about the history of different items, how to style them, or how to care for them. Communication is also key. Be responsive to customer queries and always be polite and professional. Remember, a happy customer is a repeat customer. Lastly, don't forget about the business side. Keep track of your inventory, set competitive prices, and always be on top of your finances. And remember, like any business, there will be ups and downs, but with perseverance and a dash of creativity, you can navigate through them. And there you have it. With a bit of knowledge and a lot of passion, you can turn your love for vintage into a profitable business. So dust off those old trinkets, roll up your sleeves, and let's get down to business. Vintage waits for no one.